Good evening, everyone. Thank you for standing by and welcome to this evening's fiscal year 2021 Consolidated Performance and Evaluation Report, or CAPER, and Recovery Housing Program, RHP, Plan Virtual Public Hearing. My name is Richard Livingston. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff and Communications Director here at the DC Department of Housing and Community Development, and I'll provide some brief housekeeping updates to get us started. During tonight's public hearing, attendees will be in listen-only mode until such a time that those wishing to be recognized are elevated to the role of panelists or unmuted to provide testimony or verbal feedback to the district on our draft report and plan. If you have questions during the public hearing, you may submit them online by entering it in the Q&A panel, standing for question and answer. If you're in the full screen mode, it's the question mark icon in the floating toolbar at the lower right side of your screen. And if you're in the full screen mode, it's already there. The same functionality exists in the chat box, and we have staff on hand to monitor both features. This is a notice that this presentation is being recorded and will be available online after the hearing. If you're experiencing technical issues, you can contact WebEx at 1-866-779 or visit help.webex.com. And I've put the information in the chat. You may hear or see me throughout tonight's hearing as I work with the team to navigate this platform for a smooth hearing. I'll now turn the program over to Housing Compliance Officer Leslie Edmond.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our public hearing regarding our 2021 Consolidated Performance and Evaluation Report. You're going to hear us refer to this document as the CAPER tonight, but we're also going to be talking about the plan that we submitted to HUD for the Recovery Housing Program. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over in a minute to Interim Director Drew Hubbard, but we want to make sure we're clear about what we're doing tonight. So after we do the welcome, Director Hubbard is going to go over the CAPER, some specific points and data. We're going to talk briefly about the Recovery Housing Program plan that we submitted to HUD, and then I'm going to open it up to public testimony, and then we'll have closing remarks. So you will get an opportunity to provide comments and feedback on the document in regards to how the district spends federal funds that come from HUD, specifically CDBG Home and the National Housing Trust Fund. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Interim Director Drew Hubbard to welcome you guys to our hearing tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Good evening, everyone. And again, welcome to the district's hearing on the draft fiscal year 2021 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation and Report, the CAPER, it's a mouthful. And as it was already stated, the Draft Recovery Housing Program Plan, the RHP. I am Drew Hubbard, Interim Director of the DC Department of Housing and Community Development. The CAPER report is a part of the federal planning process where the district works with HUD to plan and report on federal entitlement resources that come to the district from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. This hearing will serve as an opportunity to provide input on the intended uses of the Recovery Housing Program and give its feedback on the district's performance from last fiscal year as reported in the draft CAPER report. Your comments on the CAPER and on the Recovery Housing Plan will become part of the district's final documents submitted to HUD. This report is the last CAPER report for the fiscal year 2016 through 2021 Consolidated Plan, or CON Plan, period, and it highlights performance outcomes for FY21. In addition to the CAPER, the CON Plan is carried out through what is also known as annual action plans, which provide a concise summary of each action plan's activities. The annual action plan also identifies specific federal and non-federal resources used each year to address the priority needs and specific goals intended in the consolidated plan. Lastly, the district reports on accomplishments and progress towards consolidated plan goals in the CAPER, and in particular regarding these 5 entitlement resources. Number 1, the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, in the amount of $15.6 million, assisted over 35,000 DC households and businesses. Number two, the Home Investment Partnership, or HOME, in the amount of $5 million, funded the HPAP program, which assisted 83 households in purchasing their first home. Home funds also supported completing the Walter Reed Scatter Sites 2, a senior housing project on the Walter Reed campus that created 87 affordable housing units. Three, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS in the amount of $11.1 million. These funds assisted 231 persons and families living with HIV/AIDS. Number four, the Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG, in the amount of $1.3 million, supported 1,466 homeless individuals and families. And lastly, number five, the National Housing Trust, in the amount of $3.1 million, was used to create 59 affordable housing units in two projects this past year. 63 affordable units at 1100 Eastern Avenue Northeast, and 96 affordable housing units at 218 Vine Street Southeast. To respond to the coronavirus national health pandemic, HUD allocated 3 additional sources of funds through the CARES Act in 2020. And these 3 resources are the Community Development Block Grant CV funding in the amount of $16 million, which DHCD administered. Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS CV in the amount of $1.6 million, which DC Health administered. And finally, the Emergency Solutions Grant CV in the amount of $27 million, which was administered by the DC Department of Human Services. The district continues to utilize these resources to support the recovery of its residents and the economy. Lastly, the district submitted to HUD a draft plan for the Recovery Housing Program, which was in the amount of $2.2 million for FY2021 and FY22, so that the district may acquire and develop land or rental housing for persons living with a substance use disorder. The Recovery Housing Program is a pilot program that will allow the District of Columbia to pilot stable transitional housing for individuals recovering from a substance use disorder. The funding provides up to 2 years of assistance, or until the individual with a substance use disorder secures permanent housing. 2 more items regarding upcoming events and projects I'd like to highlight also. To begin, if you want to provide feedback, comments, or testimony regarding the use of federal funds by the district in 2023, a needs assessment public hearing will occur on March 24th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. One of the federal funds regarding coronavirus, the Home American Rescue Plan, or Home ARP, will also be discussed in particular at this hearing. Home ARP funds are special purpose home funds that must benefit individuals or families at the risk of homelessness who are already experiencing homelessness. Additionally, the district is engaged in a regional fair housing equity research project and has launched in English and Spanish. The link to the survey will be shared in the chat and is listed here on the slide deck. So that concludes my remarks, and at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Edmond. Thank you.
Okay, we're here to open up the public testimony at 6:49 p.m. Each speaker is going to have 3 minutes to speak and put their testimony in the record. We're going to ask that you limit your time to the 3 minutes. We're going to give you a 1-minute warning. We may be able to give you a little bit of additional time depending upon how many other people want to speak, but we're going to start with 3 minutes. So we're going to do the testimonies alphabetically by last name, and then we're going to do an open forum period for anyone who wasn't registered. So we're going to move forward, and you're going to be elevated to a presenter role in the WebEx and then unmuted so you can provide your testimony. You can also turn on your webcam if you would like to, but it is not required. After you complete your testimony, you'll be muted again and relegated to the attendee role via WebEx. So do we have anyone here who would like to testify who's already registered? Or you can go ahead and put it in the chat if you'd like to testify. We'll be looking through the chat, as Mr. Livingstone mentioned earlier, to see who is interested in participating and providing testimony on, again, our federal funding sources that Mr. Hubbard spoke of: HOPWA, ESG, HOME, CDBG, and the National Housing Trust Fund. We will not be talking about the Housing Authority or inclusionary zoning tonight. Thank you.
Not seeing anything in the chat, but we do have someone here who I believe is calling in. And so for individuals who use a phone number to call in, how we proceed through their numbers is by unmuting them and calling the first 3 digits of their phone number to make sure that they are not or are interested in testifying but can't otherwise indicate to the district electronically because they're calling in. So to that end, I will unmute the 230 number and ask if you are interested in providing testimony. If you are the user 230-735-92437, you are now a panelist and can unmute yourself if you'd like to provide testimony. If not, I'll relegate you back to the role of panelist, attendee rather. Going once, going twice. So changing the role of this person back to attendee and renewing the call for anybody here who's interested to indicate their desire to provide testimony in the chat as requested. Leslie, I'm not seeing anybody and we've made 2 calls, so I will refer the program back to you.
Okay, so we do not have any requests to testify. However, you may still submit your written testimony via email. So it's on our record. It will be submitted to HUD as part of the final CAPER document to opm.questions@dc.gov. You see it here on the screen until February 3rd, 2022. You may also call in to 202-442-7239 and leave verbal voicemail testimony, or you can send via mail a letter to Director Drew Hubbard at the DC Department of Housing and Community Development at 1800 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, Southeast, Washington, DC, 220. Even if you submit in comments after the deadline, we will keep them on record for record keeping purposes. So we have your information and your comments. If you have additional concerns or issues outside of these items listed here, please feel free to send us an email or a note, and we will be happy to refer you to the proper party to address your concern. So again, we are having a needs assessment hearing on March 24th. We're going to be talking about the home art plan specifically, as well as the RHP plan, and getting your input and feedback about how we should spend our federal funds for fiscal year 2023. So without any objections, we are going to go ahead and close out the hearing tonight at 6:53 p.m. Thank you everyone for attending. Good night.